Former Molambo band member Julian Bahula, and he joins us now from our Pretoria studios. Good afternoon, Julian. Can you hear me now?
Yes, afternoon.
Welcome, Julian, and thank you for making time for us during what is a very sad news day. What is your initial reaction to the passing of Marah Louw this morning?
For me, this is the most sad day. I don't know even what to say, you know. It's sad because I was so close to Hugh. We worked together, and such a wonderful person to know. Hugh was different, and for me, I feel sad. But yesterday we were just talking about him, and when I heard the news today, it wasn't a good thing. And I phoned my fellow musicians in England, and when I told them about the news, they can't believe it. So I worked with Hugh during the struggle.
Yes, Julian.
I was in England, and hello.
Yes, Julian, you also worked with Marah Louw in Botswana for a while when you were both in exile. Just remind us of your involvement with him there and what shape and form that work took, because you both were constantly involved in raising awareness of the liberation struggle, of the struggle facing South Africans back home.
For me, it was a job that we had to do. And during the struggle, because I've been working the campaigning for the release of Mandela, on Mandela's 65th birthday, Hugh was in Botswana, in exile in Botswana. And I called him and told him what I was doing. And I would like him to give support. And he said, Julian, I will definitely do that for Mandela. And we didn't have enough money because I was working with the anti-apartheid movement. We managed to send Hugh a ticket that he will work with my band when he gets to the event. I did that for him to headline the festival. We did that outside Alexander Palace. And it was a huge, huge event that Hugh, when it comes to performing, I hope that one day our country will produce a person like Hugh. Hugh will be missed because when Hugh performs, he makes sure that he entertains people.
Julian, just on that note, I want to still bring in Marah Louw, who's still sitting with me, sharing her time so generously on what is a very sad day for the whole country and the continent.
Hello, Brad Julian.
She's greeting you, Brad Julian. Marah, we've heard Julian tell us now about Marah Louw's exile years. Now, we understand that Masekela spent 30 years in exile, constantly working to raise awareness through his music of the struggles faced by South Africans at home, living under the discriminatory apartheid regime. How was he able to cope all those years being away from friends and family, having severed ties with loved ones at home? It cannot be an easy thing.
It couldn't have been an easy thing. That's why whenever I had an opportunity to meet, when I would be invited to Botswana to perform, like we did some shows at some clubs in Gaborone, and you could see the yearning that he had whenever we had to part, and I'm coming back to South Africa, and he has to go back. you know, to wherever he was living in New York or in America or wherever he was living, and he couldn't come back home. It was very sad, you know. Sometimes there's no that feeling of. Sometimes I wish I could, you know, he wished that we could stay with him and not go back, you know. And yeah, I can imagine it couldn't have been easy. It wasn't easy for any of them to be out there, but it was all worth it, because today we are enjoying the freedom that they had a big contribution.
And worked so hard for.
And worked so hard.
Brah Louw's warmth and humility coming through in tribute after tribute that's poured into the country from his contemporaries, his peers, ordinary South Africans, fans. His inclusivity really embraced all. Such was his spirit and resonated with all of us. Yes. What would you say, Marah, is your fondest memory of him?
For me, I have my fond memories of Brah Louw are the funny moments.
He did have sometimes wicked sense of humor, didn't he?
No, he was seriously wicked sense of humor. We used to laugh a lot, and his love for good food. Yes, and I mean, sometimes he'd call me. I remember he'd just call me and say, and I'll say, I've just finished shooting, whatever. He says, what are you cooking? And he loves seafood. So when I knew that he was going to come by my house, I'd rush to the fishmonger and get some prawns and all kinds of goodies and cook this great meal. He loved good food. He just loved a good life. He had a very, 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 very serious, funny sense of humor, dark humor. You know?
Julian, on that note, I just want to bring you back. Julian, in our Pretoria studios, if we can get a visual on Julian, that would be helpful. If you can still hear me, we've just heard Marah share some funny moments during Brah Louw's life. What are some of your fondest memories of an icon of this stature, Julian?
Yeah. I remember you. Hello.
Who's it?
Who am I talking to?
Marah.
Yeah.
It's Marah, Julian.
Marah Louw.
Yeah, bo.
Konjani.
Sharp, who's it, my brother?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sad day for us all.
Julian, do you want to share some of your fondest memories with Brah Louw over the years?
You see, I worked with you for a long time, for many years, because I was Masekela's promoter in England. And I enjoy working with him. We had a good laugh. And you'll never hear him talking of other people, or all he does, he did his job. And he did it well. The contribution that you gave for our struggle and brought up, helped young people, is the only musician who helped many young South Africans in Europe and other countries. And I always appreciated that. And he'll always introduce me to them and say to these young guys, do you know this man? Some will say, no, yeah, because not many young musicians know me here in the country. And he'll say, if it wasn't this man, you wouldn't have been here today with me.
Marah, I just want to bring you in.
Because I made him big in UK.
Thank you, Julian. Marah, I just want to bring you in on that point. We're hearing Julian say that Brah Louw never pulled others down, but always sought to build others up and create space for them in his own fraternity. This is something we should all emulate in our respective fields.
He was always a teacher. You know, I don't remember a single time, a single day when I would hear Brah Louw gossiping about anybody, you know, talking about this musician or that person.
He never did that, mudslinging, rumor mongering. It was never for him.
No, it was not him. Anyone who thinks otherwise, then they're lying. Because Brah Louw, or if he was talking about somebody, it was everything good about that person, or wishing that person to improve in whatever they were doing. But it was never a pull me down type of talk. He was a very honest person. When he didn't like something, he was very honest to say, I don't like that. I mean, I remember once I was wearing a dress which he didn't, he says, no, what is that? You know, he was very honest. Yeah, we have lost someone, and I know it's very difficult when someone is passed on. Suddenly we all start to say things that we want to remember him, but sometimes your mind just blocks. You know, right now my mind is a little bit blocked in terms of so much stuff has happened through the years that I know about Marah Louw. And I remember that was one time we were trying to do another concert similar to the one we did for Dolly Ratebe, and we went to have this meeting with a, you know, supposed to be sponsors, and we were sitting out there, and he says, so who's going to speak first? And I says, I think you should speak first. He says, no, I think when you throw them with that smile, with that dimple, and you start to speak, they'll just melt and give us the money.
And he was right, of course. So all well. Marah Louw, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your time on such a difficult day right here on the SABC News Desk. We do appreciate the time you've made for us.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back.